The story begins with Rebecca. To anyone looking in from the outside, her life seemed perfect. She had a small, happy family, just her husband Peter, and their young son. Peter worked at a church, and he was a man who deeply wanted his family by his side, serving God and helping the believers. Rebecca trusted Peter with her whole heart. She believed everything he said and started attending church regularly with their son. But then, a tragedy struck that changed everything. Peter took their son to a summer camp, but after they returned, the boy took his own life. This loss left Rebecca completely devastated. The world lost its color. She lost interest in everything. She even stopped going to church. To try and numb the unbearable pain, she turned to drugs. Peter, who was a highly respected figure in society, eventually grew tired of her grief and her behavior. He gave her an ultimatum. "You have 1 year. If you don't get yourself together, I'm leaving you." Because Rebecca loved Peter so deeply and couldn't bear the thought of losing him too, she promised to do whatever he wanted. Peter moved out to another house, telling her he'd only return when she was fully recovered. He left her in the care of his friend Mary, who worked with him at the church, to handle her counseling. A year passed. Rebecca was off the drugs, but her mental state was worse than ever. She started having terrifying hallucinations. She became convinced someone was stalking her, someone who wanted to kill her. She felt a presence in the house at night, someone who would sit silently in Peter's locked office. She begged for help. She called Peter. She talked to Mary, but no one believed her. Mary ignored her and Peter was cold. "I feel like you're still using," he told her over the phone. Eventually, Rebecca started to doubt her own mind. She thought, maybe they're right. Maybe this is just my anxiety and depression. For a few days, she tried to stay calm. But then, she felt it again, the unmistakable feeling of an intruder. Someone had sneaked in and was now inside Peter's office. Terrified, she called Peter, but he didn't answer. She sent him a desperate message. "I think a thief is in the house, and I'm going to kill him." She grabbed a gun and sat on her bed, shaking. When she heard a noise at her door, she rushed out, ready to fire, but it was just Peter at the main entrance. She ran to him, sobbing, "Believe me, someone is in here." Peter searched the whole house. He checked his office. Nothing. He turned on her in a rage. "You're still on drugs, Rebecca. This is the addiction talking." Rebecca pleaded with him. "I haven't touched anything in a year. Mary has been helping me. I've improved." She told him she was changing everything just to be with him, but Peter didn't care. He told her she had only a few months left to prove herself, or he was gone for good. The next day, while Rebecca was cleaning the garden, she saw a shadow inside the house watching her. When Mary arrived, Rebecca tried to tell her, but Mary just opened the Bible and started reciting verses, ignoring Rebecca's fear. Suddenly, Rebecca got a message from Peter. He was coming over. She was so happy. She thought he finally missed her. She cleaned the house, decorated, and cooked all of his favorite foods. But when Peter arrived that night, he didn't come for dinner. He handed her divorce papers. "I don't want to be with you anymore," he said coldly. Rebecca was shattered. She begged him, "I changed for you. I'll even go back to church." But Peter snapped. He told her the real reason he wanted to leave. "It was your negligence that led to our son's death." Rebecca fired back. "How was it my fault? He was with you at that camp. He was happy before he went with you. What happened at that camp, Peter?" As they screamed at each other, a sound cut through the air, a scream so loud and terrifying that it didn't sound human. Both of them froze, their hair standing on end. "I told you!" Rebecca whispered. "There's a shadow in this house!" Peter, finally shaken, searched the house again. When he found nothing, he tried to dismiss it as a shared misunderstanding, but Rebecca wouldn't have it. "We can't both imagine the same sound, Peter. That shadow has been here since you left. It's been trying to kill me." Terrified, she begged him to stay the night. Peter agreed. But as she served him dinner, something horrific happened. In the blink of an eye, the food turned black and rotten. Peter's face turned pitch black, looking like a demon. Rebecca screamed, but a moment later, Peter looked normal again. He tried to soothe her. "You're letting fear get to your head. Let's pray." But as they started to pray, Rebecca saw something enter Peter's office upstairs. Peter heard the door click. He drew his gun and went up. He tried to turn the knob, but it wouldn't move. A powerful force was holding it shut. Peter began to recite prayers at the door, and the thing inside screamed again, a sound so powerful it knocked Peter back. Paintings fell off the walls. The whole house shook. Rebecca grabbed Peter's hand. "We have to get out of here!" They ran outside, but Peter stopped. He looked back at the house with a strange look in his eyes. "Why is this happening in my house?" he mused. Maybe God has chosen me for a great challenge. Maybe I am meant to defeat this power. Rebecca begged him to leave, but Peter was adamant. He went back in. As he touched the office door, lightning struck the garden, starting a fire. Rebecca rushed to put it out, refusing to go back inside. She tried to reason with him, but Peter's mind seemed altered. He was convinced this was a divine task. Rebecca eventually followed him back inside. She went to the bathroom to wash up, and suddenly, a massive, black demonic hand rose from the bathtub, reaching for her throat. Just as it was about to grab her, a loud crash of glass came from outside. The hand vanished. She ran out to find Peter had smashed a window with his bare hands. He was using the blood from his deep cuts to paint symbols on the office door. "What are you doing?" she cried. Peter smiled. "There are angels behind this door, Rebecca. They want to give me powers. They told me I am special, but they need a sacrifice. They need blood." Rebecca realized then that Peter had lost his mind. No god would ask for a blood sacrifice. Suddenly, the house plunged into darkness and began to shake violently. A strange light shone from under the office door. Rebecca begged him to stop, but Peter threw his blood under the door. The blood vanished. The crucifix on the door was ripped off and thrown away by an invisible force. Peter's wounds began to heal instantly. He started laughing hysterically, fueled by a dark, terrifying energy until he finally fainted. Rebecca, desperate to save him, hauled Peter to Mary's house. She told Mary everything. Rebecca spoke of demons. Peter woke up and spoke of angels. Mary, confused, told them both to sleep and talk in the morning. That night, Rebecca felt those demonic hands choking her again. She woke up gasping, only to find the house silent. Peter was gone. Mary was gone. Rebecca rushed back to her own house. Through the window, she saw Peter and Mary together, talking to the dark shadows. She ran inside, yelling, "What are you doing?" Peter looked at her with a chilling joy. "Now you know the truth, Rebecca. These aren't God's powers. They are demonic, and they've been with me since I was a child. I worship them. And now you will too, just like Mary." He explained that they just had to feed the power blood to get whatever they wanted. Mary looked at Rebecca and said, "Don't refuse him. Your son refused. And you know what happened to him?" Rebecca's heart stopped. They had killed her son. Peter held Rebecca at gunpoint. "Watch how Mary does it." Mary slit her wrist and let the blood flow under the office door. As Mary fainted from blood loss, a dark shadow reached out from under the door and dragged her body inside. Rebecca tried to bolt, but Peter was suddenly in front of her without even using the stairs. He wasn't human anymore. Rebecca locked herself in the bathroom, listening to Peter's voice through the door. "How long will you run?" he asked calmly. Then, he told her the truth about the camp. "I tried to show our son the beauty of these powers, but he was stubborn, just like you. He disobeyed me. I had to kill him because my demon told me to." In that moment, Rebecca's fear turned into a burning, white-hot rage. She realized she had to end this. She opened the door and lied, "I'm ready. I'll give my blood." They went upstairs to the office. As Peter started to explain the ritual, Rebecca didn't reach for a knife. She grabbed his gun and shot him dead. As Peter fell, the house shook with a final, violent tremor. The office door flew open. Black, shadowy tendrils reached out, grabbed Peter's body, and dragged him into the darkness. A terrifying scream echoed one last time, and then silence. The house went back to normal. The demon was gone because Peter, its host, was gone. Rebecca was finally safe, but she was entirely alone. She decided to live out her life in that house, the sole survivor of a nightmare that started with a perfect family.